What's up everybody, it's Gomledex and welcome to my first Pandemonium Constructed on the channel. For those who don't know, Pandemonium Constructed is the format where it's basically regular standard with a small ban list. But the big difference is that whenever you play a creature, just whenever a creature enters your battlefield, it deals damage equal to its power to target creature an opponent controls. So the main difference is you can just use decently sized creatures as removal spells. So what I'm doing, I'm playing a pretty basic Gates deck here. The main Gate shell that's in any Gate deck is 4 Growth Spiral, 4 Guild Summit, 4 Gates Ablaze, 4 Circuitous Route, and then the other stuff is where you kind of choose what you want your win cons to be here. So yeah, usually I run some Lava Coils in my Gates decks, but because we get to deal damage whenever creatures enter the battlefield, I'm just going to run a playset of Wayward Swordtooth instead, because it seems pretty interesting to me. 3 mana for 5 power, so for 3 mana I'm doing 5 to a creature an opponent controls, so it is a little bit more expensive than Lava Coil, because Lava Coil only costs 2 mana to deal 4 damage to a creature, but the difference is I get to keep a 5/5 on the field that lets me play additional lands each turn. Now, this guy can't attack or block unless I have the City's Blessing, but that should be relatively easy to do in a Gates deck, because Gates decks are basically the premier ramp deck in the format. They are all about playing a lot of lands, and you usually have a lot of permanents out by the end of the game. I don't think it should be too insanely hard to get the City's Blessing off of just lands alone by late game. I am also running it like a very creature-heavy version of the deck. The creatures are the main win conditions. We are running 4 Gatebreaker Ram and 4 Gate Colossus. This is, again, because the creatures double as removal spells. They just do a bunch of damage when they enter the battlefield. And I also think that Gates decks will probably be pretty good in this format just because your creatures are... At least some of your creatures are just so massive that it won't really matter that your opponent's stuff can ping them when they enter, because they're going to have to do 8 damage total to a Gate Colossus, and ideally like 4 and up for a Gatebreaker Ram, because by the time you play this, like the earliest you play this, you want to have at least played like 2 Guildgates and then 1 basic to play it on turn 3 as a 4/4. But yeah, let's just go ahead and go into the games. I definitely think that the most... different decks that you can play in this format, or the decks that benefit the most in this format would be like dinosaur decks, because of all of your dinosaurs that have enrage triggers. Whenever they're dealt damage, they give you a little bit of a bonus. So I definitely think dinosaur decks could be pretty good in this format, just because your dinosaurs are going to be getting dealt damage a lot if you're against another creature-based deck. I also think that if you don't really want to worry about the format being a bit different than usual, if you don't want to really think about that whole aspect, then you can absolutely just play your classic Esper control deck and pretend you're playing regular standard at that point. Because if you're in a matchup where one person has a bunch of creatures in their deck and the other person is playing a creatureless deck, it's just going to play exactly like a regular match of standard. So yeah, Esper control decks, the ones with, you know, Teferis and Kayas as their win conditions that don't really have any creatures, they don't even really have to pay attention to the rules, I would say. So this is an interesting choice. We have several options here. We could Swordtooth, because that'll kill the bodyguard, and let us play both these lands. We could play a Guild Summit to draw some cards. I think because they're a white deck, we don't have to worry about them countering Guild Summit, but they could have ways to destroy it. So I would rather get my value out of when I cast the Guild Summit, making sure I at least draw a few cards. So I at least get something out of the Guild Summit. I don't want to just drop it right now and then all of a sudden they just destroy it next turn with Disenchant or something like that. So we will play the Swordtooth and drop both of our lands for the turn, and see what they got. Looks like we're against a pretty regular white weenie deck. I definitely expect to play against a lot of regular standard decks in the format that aren't much different than usual. I do think that like white weenie versus mono red are going to be some of the craziest matchups in this format, because your creatures are just constantly killing each other. I kind of want to just get aggressive here and just play my big dude. I don't feel like I'm in a position where I really need to draw cards. Kind of want to just start bashing them. And drawing cards is nice, but it's obviously better the more gates we draw. Oh, looks like they're going to double up on creatures here, get rid of my Gatebreaker Ram. He is gone. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 permanents right now, so if I just play a Swordtooth and a Guildgate, that is only 8 permanents, so they won't be able to attack yet, but I do get to kill one of the Swift Claws when I cast one. But I am at 21, so I'm probably fine on life points, so I'm just going to go ahead and draw some cards here. Off of my Guild Summit, we'll go ahead and draw 3. We're playing the Guild Summit before the Guildgate because it enters tapped, so we won't get the card out of it unless we play it after. If I draw another gate, dang. If I drew another gate, that would have been really nice, because then I could get the value out of the Swordtooth's ability and draw a card. Swordtooth plus Guild Summit seems very exciting to me. Basically, whatever gates we're drawing late game, we are just spamming out there and going real fast. Alright, so opponent plays a whole bunch of creatures and does a bunch of damage. As you do. One thing I didn't mention with the deck build is that the Banefires are just in here to be able to beat control decks, because otherwise we don't really have a big game against them. Because they can just remove all of our creatures and stuff. Alright, so what is best here? I could probably Circuitous Route. I draw an untapped land that'll let me play the Swordtooth as well as the Gate Colossus. Well, I guess that's if I draw like multiple gates off of the route. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. I kind of really just want to draw Gates Ablaze here. So I'm going to cast Circuitous Route in order to try to draw some cards. Just picking some random gates there, because I'm pretty much set on mana. We did draw a Gates Ablaze, but we don't have the mana to play it, so we're just going to play a Gate Colossus and shoot the... I guess we'll shoot the 3/3. It is the biggest creature. And when they attack here, if they attack, we'll just block whatever their biggest creature is at the time. Oh wow, do they really? Do they have the 2-power creature here? Oh, okay, I was going to say, if they have the 2-power creature to finish it up, that's going to be pretty bad. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 gates. I think we're good to just take the damage, actually. We just take the damage, Gates Ablaze, to kill all of their creatures here. And just start getting in there with Gate Colossi. I'm going to go ahead and play a Swordtooth, so that if I draw another Guildgate, perfect. We can now play this Gate Colossus for free. And if they are not running a Wrath, then I think we are just going to kill them like dead on board. Otherwise, we're going to have to Banefire them, but I think we'll still kill them pretty easily. We currently have Banefire for 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. We're pretty close to a Banefire kill, and it looks like they just have some more creatures to shoot down our Swordtooth. And there's the scoop from opponents. So, game 1 went pretty well. I did get pretty low on life. It wasn't an absolute stomping of our opponent. It was a little bit close. That was pretty cool to see just how much damage the fast, like, mono-white aggro decks can put out. Just because of how many creatures they play per turn. Like, they managed to do a lot of damage just from playing like a 2/2 with a History of Benalia and then a 3/1 guy and like a 1-mana 2/1. Like, they could do a lot of damage to our creatures potentially. So we're against something that is at least red-white. They cast Revitalize. So this might be like Jeskai Control, and right now we're basically just going to play like a regular standard game. Was hoping to draw another land there so that we could play the land for free off the Growth Spiral and then play an additional land that turn, but alas, we did not. I don't know what my opponent's playing. They've played exclusively red-white lands and a Revitalize, which Revitalize is not really a card you see in aggro that often. I mean, I think the best play here is just to play a Gatebreaker Ram and try to start going in there. They're probably on something controlling. Like, Revitalize just makes me think that that is probably what's happening. Alright, Justice Strike to get the Gatebreaker Ram out of here. And a Rekindling Phoenix. Okay, so they're just playing like Boros with Revitalizes. So I have to shoot the Phoenix twice in one turn to get it to die. Which is kind of rough. I think it's just gonna survive. They have 5 cards in hand. They can probably just kill whatever we play here. Do I just want to, like, draw a card? I kind of want to just draw a card. I want to try to get to a point where I can play 2 creatures in one turn. Which means I definitely need to draw some lands here. So hopefully we can get there land-wise. Nice. There's one Guildgate. We just need to make it a 6 mana to kill the Rekindling Phoenix. This is a weird deck. Yeah, it's like Boros aggro with also Risk Factor, which is like a burn card, and Revitalize, which is like a control card. I guess they're just like... I guess they're just all about like life totals. Just I want to lower your life total and raise mine. Fair enough. Still cannot kill the Rekindling Phoenix. I think I'm gonna have to let them draw cards if they risk factor me again, because I'm gonna die very quickly to it. And I also haven't drawn a life gain card. I think I'm just gonna Guild Summit. Now I'm just trying to draw into a the 6 mana 3/4 Flying Angel that you gain life for each gate you have. I just really want to draw that card at this point. I don't really have a fast enough clock otherwise. And the reason that I haven't just like set out the Gate Colossus earlier is because I'm fairly certain with how many cards that they have, they're just gonna have another Justice Strike or something. It's not really gonna matter. So Guildgate. Perfect. Alright, now we can kill the Phoenix. So we get to play 2 dudes this turn. However, my opponent has a full hand, and they seem to be playing burn spells, because they have risk factor at least. So we play that out, and we'll play the Gatebreaker Ram. Shoot that. Alright, let's see if we're just dead to burn here. I would not be surprised. Demanding Dragon. They get to kill my Swordtooth and make me sack my Ram or take 5. I'm gonna sack my Ram. They could very, very easily just have me dead at this point. But that... And, excuse me, and I have multiple Swordtooths and a Gate Colossus just as more threats here. So I am like A-okay. Plus the Swordtooth just kills the dragon. We're definitely going to Plaza of Harmony to gain some life. And Circuitous Route lets us get 2 more Guild Gates to make sure I get to cast this Gate Colossus for free. And I also draw 4 cards here. Nice. That's an Archway Angel to get us back in the game in terms of life total. I think we're in a pretty good spot now. So we're going to end turn. We're going to have to discard one of these gates, I think. Because we've reached the city's blessing, so the Swordtooths can actually attack and block now. I'm actually just going to take the 5 this time. Wait, that was kind of a mistake. I shouldn't have done that. I should not have done that. I should have just sacked the Gate Colossus, because I'd like definitely win the long game at this point, so I should have just sacked the Gate Colossus, play the Ram to kill the Dragon, play the Angel to gain life. The reason I should have done that is because they could have just went Mountain, skewer the critics on me twice. So I could have just died because of that decision. Luckily, though, I did not. I'm going to go ahead and play the Swordtooth first, so I can play 2 lands this turn and kill their Dragon. And then I'm going to play both my Guild Gates into the Angel, so I'm gaining as much life as possible off of it. Mass Manipulation is pretty cool. Wayward Swordtooth plus Guild Summits is actually pretty fun. I would recommend it in Pandemonium for sure. Because, like, he's also just, whenever he's showing up, killing their demanding dragons. Like, that's pretty good. So now we're just going to start playing Plaza of Harmony to gain life again, and we've just got multiple... We've got multiple decently sized creatures out at this point, so hopefully we can just start getting in there. There's a Lyra Dawnbringer. They're going to kill a Wayward Swordtooth. Oh, I guess Death Touch doesn't work with this thing. Yeah, because the emblem is dealing the damage. So lifelink creatures don't gain you life, and Death Touch creatures don't immediately kill the thing. So that's interesting. Yeah, so I think, like, we could Mass Manipulation and just steal their one dude, but... I mean, how many lands do we have out? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14? I could just attack with Gate Colossus, and if they don't block, they're dead. Okay. That'll get there. I don't remember how many I have, but I'm pretty sure I have at least 15. Okay, no I don't. Let's try a 14. Oh my god. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. I have 14 total, so I can do 13. Wow, that that took me way too long to do the simple counting at the end. Alright, so that is 2 wins, 0 losses with Pandemonium Gates. I am kind of interested to see, after playing all of this Pandemonium, if I'm gonna enjoy Wayward Swordtooth enough to want to actually try Wayward Swordtooth just in a regular gate stack. This is an awful hand. There's no gates. I mean... We have, like... We just need to draw, like, a mountain, and then we have stuff to play, though. It's not the worst thing in the world. This is a hard decision. I legitimately just don't know what I should do with this hand. I'm gonna mulligan, though. Alright, well, we have gates now. We don't have green mana, so this hand is arguably worse. Because we, like, really need a forest with this hand. I don't think we can afford to cast a Guild 7 on turn 3 for, like, nothing. Because, like... Then that's our only play, is turn 4, I guess, because these are all tapped lands. We would play a Guild Summit without even drawing any cards. Alright, we drew the forest. That makes this hand actually just, like, beautiful. So, yeah, now we're really just ramping here. So we're against a green deck. Merfolk Branchwalker's the first card they play with a Nullhide Ferox. So it looks like they're just a green Stompy deck. Which is fair enough. They definitely seem like they'll be pretty good in Pandemonium as well, just because their creatures are generally larger than than other decks' creatures. Should definitely be pretty good against White Weenie and Mono Red for sure. Against our deck, though, we have some massive creatures, so... the problem is, Nullhide Ferox, I think, is actually probably just insane in this format. It's a 6/6, so you play it for 4, you deal 6 to a creature, and it has hexproof. They have to pay additional mana to kill your dude. Alright, so we can kill that and play 2 lands and a Gate Colossus this turn, so I'm going to do that. So we'll turn off the hexproof before we play our Gate Colossus, so we can go ahead and get that out of the way. Now we just gotta hope that they don't have 8 power worth of creatures this turn, but I mean they very well could. They are a green deck. They could definitely have 6 power of creatures this turn, so I'm just gonna take 3. Or 5 power, I mean. And there is the 5 power Vinemare. I do think hexproof creatures are probably just exceptional in this format. That is a thing that I slightly forgot about. So these hexproof creatures, like, I can't just kill them by playing a dude. So let's see, we've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 mana. So I think we're just going to play the Gatebreaker Ram and shoot the Branch Walker. And then next turn we should be able to attack with Gate Colossus and Gatebreaker and just kill them. Because they are down to 12. We have an 8/8 that can't be blocked by creatures with power 2 or less, and an 8/8 with Vigilance and Trample, plus the Banefire in our hand. So I'm pretty sure they will die next turn. But we'll find out. So another Vinemare. Yep, they are just dead here. Most damage they can stop is 8. With the follow-up Banefire to finish it off. So 4, 5, 6, 7 damage. That's what we can do. Yeah. They were completely tapped out. I didn't need to do the full 7 there, but I was slightly cautious. The red-white opponents that I dealt the full damage to, I actually do think I needed to deal the full damage to, just in case they had like another Revitalize, but I think they only had 1 mana up. They could have had Healing Salve, and that would have still saved them, because that prevents 3 damage and they gain 3 life, so that would have been like stopping 6 damage of my Banefire. So technically the Boros player could have survived if they were running that very niche card. So I like this hand. We do have a turn 3 Gatebreaker Ram. We do need to draw a land at some point to get to Circuitous Route, and then we can basically cast anything. But we should be able to. I don't remember exactly how many lands I'm running in this deck, but it's a decent amount. I think it's like 26 or 27. So we should hopefully be able to draw land by turn 4 here. So I could just play the Guildgate to make sure I can root next turn, and I'm kind of fine with that. I feel like if I play a Gatebreaker Ram, we're playing against Golgari, they'll probably just play a cast down or something like that, so I just want to do the bigger impact play next turn. Plus, if I don't play my creatures until they have something on the board, I'm getting extra value out of my dudes by killing theirs with mine. So I do want... Yeah, I think I want an Azorius Guildgate. That's 3 blue sources and 1 white source. So I do want 1 more blue source. Let's take a Simic Guildgate for another green source as well. So now we have our 4 blue for Mass Manipulation, and we have 1 white if we draw a Archway Angel. So opponent goes Vinemare, which is pretty good in this format. So I could just play like double Gate Colossus, and then I'm just not shooting any of their creatures, but then I have 2 Gate Colossuses out. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I mean, a Gatebreaker Ram is an 8/8 Vigilance Trample, so that's like just as good. I think I'm just going to play the Colossi first. I'm not as sad if they kill the Colossuses, because if I draw a Guildgate, I can put them back on top. The Gatebreaker Ram is straight up just going to die if they kill it, though. Just forever. So, let's see what they got. The Eldest Reborn. Have me sack a Gate Colossus. Okay. That's a draw. So we absolutely want to draw a Guildgate next turn, because if we don't, they get our Gate Colossus from our grave, which is just rude. It is just very rude. So here's 3 damage. Can they make 4 power for 2 mana? I don't know. It's going to be very impressive if they do. I don't think they can. Alright, they don't. So I think we just Guild Summit, tap all 4, because we really need to draw a Guildgate. We don't want them to have a Gate Colossus of their own. That would be pretty lame. The alternative play is we could Mass Manipulation to steal their 2/2, just to get one of their creatures out of the way. Oh, thank God. Best Guildgate. So we're going to put Gate Colossus on top. So I think we are still attacking with everybody, because even if they can kill one of our creatures, like, they can't do that without dying. They have to chump block. Depending on what's in their hand, they could have instant speed stuff. They could just, like, cast down a Gate Colossus, and then they're just getting one back with the Eldest Reborn anyway. But I don't see a good way for them to block and kill a Gate Colossus. Okay, there we go. That works. Abnormal Endurance is pretty much exactly what they needed to be able to make sure that a Gate Colossus is in the grave blocking-wise, because now they can put the Vine Mare and the 1/1 on the Gate Colossus and the Jungleborn Pioneer on the other Gate Colossus. It really doesn't matter which way they do it. I think they just... Oh, wait! They can't block Gate Colossus with power 2 or less! Oh, I'm an idiot. They're actually just dead. They were just dead this whole time. I completely forgot about that. They're actually just dead on board. Wow, Gate Colossus is insane. Gate Colossus is insane. So yeah, they had to, like, abnormal endurance on their, on one of those small creatures to make sure that it had 3 or 4 power so it would be able to block Gate Colossus, and then they'd have to chump block one with Vine Mare and block the other one with... chump block the other one with their token or their 2/2. So yeah, they could have survived if they abnormal enduranced the 2/2 or the 1/1, but but they forgot that that Gate Colossus had that can't be blocked ability, and I forgot as well, so I would have died as well if I were my opponent, so I don't blame them. This hand's awkward. We definitely need a blue source or a 3rd land to cast anything. Like, if we just draw a Guildgate with blue mana in it, then this hand's pretty good, but we can't know that we're going to draw that. And if we don't draw land for a while, this hand's very bad. I think I'm going to mulligan that. This hand's not great either. Like, we can at least play a Gatebreaker Ram, though, so I think I don't want that. I just really hope that my opponent is gonna play, like, one dude that I can kill with Gatebreaker Ram and then just chill for a bit. Because otherwise, like, I don't really know what I'm doing with this hand. Probably not a lot. So, Gatebreaker Ram as a 4/4 that at least can't die to a Jade Light Ranger. Because I think that the way it works with the Explore triggers is that it's gonna enter the battlefield and deal 2 damage before it gets the counters on it. But we'll find out. I'm actually just going to wait on the Gatebreaker Ram the larger it is when I play it, the safer it is. And I know that they're casting a Jade Light Ranger this turn, so that I know that I can cast a Gatebreaker Ram and kill it next turn. So I know I can get value there. Oh, Dead Man's Chest! The interesting Pandemonium choices. I mean, Dead Man's Chest is probably alright in this format just because you know that creatures are going to be dying all the time. So, enchant a creature your opponent controls. When the creature dies, exile cards from the top equal to its power, and you can cast all those cards. That's a very interesting choice for my opponent. I am a fan of that. Anyways, let's drop the Ram out and get rid of the Jade Light Ranger. Would have really liked to draw a Guildgate there so that my Gatebreaker Ram could be a 6/6 here, so it couldn't just die to a Vine Mare, but it looks like they just have a Plague Crafter anyway, so it's just gonna die. We're just trading with the Plague Crafter. 5 mana, we drop out a Gate Colossus. Opponent does have a full grip, so I don't expect basically any of our creatures to survive. Oh, Biogenic Ooze is also quite good in this format. So it pops out, does 2 damage, pops out the ooze does 2 damage, and then they get to pay a bunch of mana to put more oozes out. So, alright. Guild Summit. So I could play a Gate Colossus or a Guild Summit here. I think I'm just going to cast Gate Colossus to make sure that they're not making more oozes. Just going to kill the ooze father here, so it stops pooping out babies, and that will prompt the scoop from our opponent. So you definitely saw it here first. I feel like Gate decks, specifically creature-heavy Gate decks, can be quite good in Pandemonium, just because all of the creatures that you get in your Gate decks, your Gatebreaker Rams, your Gate Colossi, are all just very, very large. So they'll show up, do a lot of damage to your opponent's creatures, and then your opponents are going to have a kind of hard time killing them, even though they can, if they throw multiple creatures at it, like tossing out a Vine Mare and a couple other dudes. But, yeah, that was my first Pandemonium Constructed event, and as you can see, it went pretty well. Let's go ahead and see what kind of prizes we got. 1 rare and 1 rando card. Navigator's Ruin, not really a card you see people playing around with. Mill decks in general just aren't really going to be attacking ever, so not really good for Constructed. And the rare is a Vanquisher's Banner, which is definitely interesting. I think it definitely costs too much mana for Constructed, though, for the benefit that you're getting. But I could see people brewing around it. Like, it's a okay card. But yeah, thank you all for watching, and I will definitely see you again soon for more Magic Arena videos. See you then.